Apparently, these suits are made for walking, and that's just what the kitten will do. Hello everybody and welcome! We are back with the breakneck speed of Kitten Space Agency, and it seems like every week there is something interesting to talk about. And today I want to hit on two major points that were included into the game since the last time we spoke about it. First off, as we've seen in the beginning, the kittens can now walk on the surface, and the second is vehicle destruction. We'll get to that later. With the latest build of Kitten Space Agency, which was just released this week, there are now a couple of changes included that are made in regards to the kittens and what you can do with them in the game world. If you remember my previous videos, we talked about how you can go on EVA with kittens, how you can spawn infinite kittens out of a capsule module, and how they can't really do anything on the surface up until now. And if you want to stay in the loop with all the development news around Kitten Space Agency, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you won't miss an important update like this. Alright, kitten news. There is now a new menu called the roster, which you can reach by pressing Shift and F3. In there you can see all of the available and deployed kitten astronauts, cat-astronauts, write in the comments what you want to call them. And the one you are currently controlling, if the vehicle you're controlling has a kitten on board, is marked blue, as we can see here with Kerbal Kitten. When we go on EVA with him or her, we can no longer go back, so that's not yet an option that was included. But we can zip around with our EVA pack, and we can deorbit and see what happens. Because I glimpsed in the kitten roster something called Memorial, and I was immediately afraid that we are now able to make our kittens go boom, but that is not the case yet. So animal lovers out there, you can relax, there is no way to harm the kittens. Yet. Once we dropped from orbit right onto the Earth's surface, and we fast forward the time until we actually can see something, our friendly cat-astronaut is able to walk around and look at the beautiful scenery and walk towards the sunrise and jump and look at whatever this is. This is, I think, this is somewhere south of the Saharan desert in Africa. So kind of a fitting place for an overgrown cat to roam around in the high grass, isn't it? Although this one has tiger stripes, so I don't think that's something that you will encounter there. And especially not one wearing a spacesuit. While walking through that grass is rather beautiful, it kind of prevents us looking more closely at the animation and what the kitten does. So I did the entire process again, and then we landed in the actual desert. And here we can see a few things that are still going to be improved in the future. For instance, the shadows are not completely sticking to the feet of the character model. And when you walk upwards a hill, the cat is not leaning into the inclination, so it won't fall over if this were the real world. Or maybe they have godlike core strength. Just as in Kerbal Space Program, when you hold down the shift button, the kitten will run faster, and if you increase the time warp, it will run really fast. This is how fast it was in the game. I did not sped up the footage, by the way. So yeah, a lot more you can do with the kittens right now, so maybe we can go exploring on foot somewhere, or you can make some marathon run races with your friends and compare your times. Still, not much to interact in the game world though. And of course, little details like the sand is still a hard surface, so the feet don't sink in and you don't see any footsteps and anything like that. But hey, that's really nitpicky stuff at this point in time. I mean, let's switch back to the grassy scenes. Look how beautiful those shadows fall onto the grass and how everything meshes well together. Of course, there are no collisions yet implemented with the ground clutter, so your cat, or your kitten rather, can run straight through the trees at the moment. You can't climb them. And yes, you can also jump around, and if you spam the jump button, there will be some fun bouncing going on here. So yeah, that definitely increases the fun factor of the game now that you can actually move around with your kittens on any surface. I just wish I was able to get them back into the capsule so I can do something like a landing mission, explore the surrounding, and then get back into my vehicle. But hey, I'm sure that's going to be available in a future update. Now, regarding the other item I talked in the beginning, vehicle destruction. No, hold your horses, there are no explosions yet. So yeah, don't be disappointed, they are going to be added in the future. But what is implemented is that vehicles now have a stress limit. So if you crash into the ground, or if you do a really hard turn in atmosphere, or even in space for that matter, your vehicle will not survive this, and you can look up in the console how fast you were going, or how hard that impact was, rather. I mean, a couple of hundred Gs of deceleration will do some damage. Fortunately, as I mentioned earlier, the kittens are not harmed by this. They magically reappear in the kitten roster for a new vehicle to be assigned to. So far, the main ways of destroying my vehicle were by aerodynamic stresses and ground impact. But hey, I'm sure you can find some other ways, if they are implemented, and if you do, put them in the comments and let me know about them. At least since the latest build, we get some warnings when we approach the limits of our vehicle. And so far only the entire vehicle is destroyed, so there are no differentiation made between which parts are going to be destroyed. But I'm sure that's going to come at a later point in time, so maybe just the front fell off. Another new addition to the game are rudimentary launch pads. And oh, never mind that crazy build, we'll talk about that in a future video. So on the 3 launch locations on Earth, that is Launch Complex 39A, Vandenberg Air Force Base on the west coast, and of course the Starbase Orbital Launch Mount, you will now encounter these white slabs that are the stand-in launch pads. This should make for easier launching when you load your vehicle and they don't have to balance on the not completely flat surface of the Earth, of course. And it's also an interesting visual reference if you, for instance, want to try to land something. So if anyone out there wants to do something like a return to launch site mission, here's your target. As I said in the beginning, the pace of development for Kitten Space Agency is really impressive at the moment. And while there are still some things to iron out, the walking around and jumping and controlling your kitten on the surface part of the game is already working really well. So I'm very much looking forward to what's coming up next. But this will have to wait for me, because for the next 2 weeks I'm going to be away on vacation. Don't worry, regular upload schedule is enabled because I've pre-produced 2 videos, so you won't miss anything if you enjoy what I do here on this channel. And if you really enjoy what I do here, maybe head on over to Patreon or sign up to be a YouTube member. If you go for one of the higher tiers, your name will show up here, together with all of these wonderful people. Thank you so much for your support. And people on the highest tier can already watch those videos I mentioned, because they're already available for Patreon and YouTube members on the highest tiers. Getting high into the sky and into orbit is something we're going to do in Kitten Space Agency very much in the future, and I'm looking forward to that. Oh, and also the developers are coming to Gamescom at the end of August in Cologne in Germany. Guess who's also going to be there?
If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel for more and follow me on my social thingies. The links are in the description. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.